The future looks bright for the people of Patriot City, with the bold heroes of Freedom Force always at the ready. Villains have been vanquished, dangers have been defeated, and evil all but eradicated. It is truly a time of peace and prosperity. But now an evil wind blows cold from the north, and a new menace casts its long shadows across Patriot City. While the future is indeed bright, it is from a terrible past that dark danger now looms. Freedom Force must rise to the challenge of a new threat, reach unknown heights of heroism, and save history itself from one of the greatest evils our planet has ever endured.
You asked for this.
How's that sound, Eric?
Good.
I'm Ken Levine. I'm the general manager and creative director at Irrational Games. We were founded in 1997, and by myself and John Shea and Rob Fermier. We all came from Looking Glass. The first Freedom Force, obviously there wasn't a lot of belief in the industry. We only had one title out at the time. There wasn't a sense that necessarily Irrational could do this. There was also a sense that there was a curse.
None can stand against me.
People were almost afraid of doing a game in this genre. So I think one of the great things about doing the first comic book game on the PC was that we had a fresh palette to work from. Nobody had done it. And I think we surprised a lot of people. We did very well. Our average score was around 92% across all the websites and all the magazines. The publisher we were working with back then, Crave NEA, didn't have the rights to continue it, so we had control over that. And we looked at the financial situation and our belief in the franchise, and we decided to invest our own money in terms of developing the sequel.
The Reich is glorious.
The plot of the new game, it's a year after the first Freedom Force, and Freedom Force has done such a good job on fighting crime that there's not a lot of crime left to fight. A bunch of people have joined the team, but the team has started to drift apart a little bit, and only the core heroes remain. And we use that to kick off the plot, which involves Freedom Force being sent to Castro's Cuba in 1963 to deal with some situation there with Cuban Missile Crisis. And things get much more complicated from there. And as the title says, the series of events leads somehow to Freedom Force heading back to the 1940s and taking on the Third Reich and the Axis supervillains of the Third Reich. Our perception is that in the ages we're dealing with in Freedom Force, the Third Reich, is the Silver Age, is the period of comics in the 60s. Wherein the characters were evolving from being strictly paragons of virtue and perfect people into having some flaws and some warts on them. So there was sort of a charm to the naivete the characters have and how they spoke and how they related to each other. And it also relates well to how they looked and how the story was presented. It suited itself really well to making a computer game. So we really had a fun time with the Silver Age in the first game. And now in the second game, we want to keep that Silver Age notion strongly with the characters and continue the characters, but we also want to play with a different time period. And the period we chose was the Golden Age, which was the period of the 1930s and 40s, which is really the birth of comic books. My primary input to the Freedom Force brand and creating the Freedom Force brand is that I've been a comic book reader my whole life. And I've spent an unfortunate amount of time thinking about comic books growing up. We first got into them when I was probably around 8 or 9 years old. Well, I wrote the script, which is the dialogue, and I worked with our concept artist, Rob Waters, to create all the characters and the look. Basically, we had to create a whole comic book world from scratch.
I'm Rob Waters. I do the conceptual character design. Here I'm going to show the making of one of the origin stories. Ken will, generally come up with a script and hand it off to me. I'll read through it, and then, basically just like a comic, I'll have to break that paragraph down into different panels. As I'm translating the script, I'll see a situation where I have a particular shot of example tombstone where I can possibly save myself some work actually and use that same illustration a couple times. In the game now, I think we've got like 6 origin stories and maybe 4 to 5 other in-game cutscenes. First the rough sketch, then transfer onto the Bristol board and do a more refined version and ink it. And then I have to keep in mind what I want to be in the foreground, background, and midground. So this is the opening shot where you have the main characters being led down sort of a prison hallway, and ultimately these guys are sort of going to do a bit of parallaxing where the characters sort of mildly cross in front of each other to create the illusion of volume, and he appears in the background, but of course everything's drawn separately. This character here, Nathan Graves, becomes Tombstone, so in the opening cutscene the camera pans onto the back wall, and I just wanted to do a bit of foreshadowing here, so I sort of have a skull-like image. From this stage then I scan it in and open it up in Photoshop and color it in. So of course they all come spinning up. This is the opening shot in the prison. I've got a bunch of annoying notes here. Then, as you can see, I want the camera to move in.
Although his heart still pumps at a regular rate, Nathan Graves is dead indeed.
And then it goes on to this other scene, just to give you a little bit of backstory.
Oh, Nathan, I hate it so when you leave in the morning. Patriot City is so big and dangerous.
It takes about 3 weeks from the point where I get the script to completion, where I finish the storyboards and send it off to Australia where they do the animation.
For where Nathan Graves once stood, only Tombstone remains.
And then I actually had a lot of fun with the Golden Age cutscenes, because there was a whole different sort of aesthetic and treatment for those to make them sort of look older, as far as incorporating like the halftone process, and it was a lot of work. It's just incredible how much the sound really brings these to life, because without sound you're almost thinking, wow, this is bad, but once Eric actually drops his sound in and everything, the music just helps it flow.
My name is Eric Brocious, and I'm the audio director here. My role here at Irrational is to just pretty much design how the game is going to sound, and that includes casting and recording and processing all of the speech files.
Eric Brocious is a slave driver. He makes us do hundreds of different takes. No, I'm just kidding.
Includes creating sound effects for pretty much everything in the game.
Have a bit of this.
For some characters it's very easy, because sometimes someone from in-house will come right up to us and say, oh, I have an idea for this voice and I think it would be good. Then we try it out.
Feel the serpent's tooth!
I haven't ever told this story, but I'll tell you guys for the first time. When we started doing the original Manbot voice, I started talking through my hand, sort of like this, just to kind of simulate, metallic voice might be. It was before we added any voice effects to the voices that we recorded, and it's not the most high-tech solution. But it worked. For some reason it worked, everyone liked it, so to keep it consistent, we kept it in every single Manbot line I have done throughout all the games.
I've used my hand.
Until that day, the world shall only know me as the Manbot.
Freedom Force, for example, has a lot of characters. There's like 100 total when you add up all the bit parts. So we go to a casting agency and we get them to give us a whole bunch of people.
Eric, our sound guy, holds auditions for each character. He and Ken talk about the kind of voice Ken imagines when he thinks of the character.
And then we usually pick 30 people that we use, and we try to pick people who are versatile, can do many different voices. We have some people that do 7 or 8 voices because they can disguise their voice.
When you're doing the voice like the narrator, it's a much different vocal. You got to command your vocals a little bit differently. You do that for 20 minutes, it's a lot harder to kind of come off of that and run right into the man-bot sort of dialogue. Generally, we need to take a lot of breaks, and luckily we're here all the time, so anytime Eric needs anything new, we can just sort of give it to him when he needs it.
And then between myself and Ken and John over in Australia, we kind of pick who we think we're going to go with.
For minor characters, he often uses people like me, where he kind of knows my voice from having worked with me in the past, and so he's heard me make gorilla noises, for instance, so he knew I could probably do a decent killerilla.
Killerilla, hungry!
You're concentrating on tiny little details that we think are really important, which are probably really meaningless in the big picture. And then every once in a while, like sometimes late at night, you'll be playing the game or running through, and all of a sudden you'll kind of be playing it for the first time as a player. And then you kind of get excited about it because all the little bits that you've been working on and that other people have been working on, you see kind of all come together.
My name is Keith Smith. I do QA and miscellaneous tasks around the office, and I do the voice of Quetzalcoatl.
My wrath is ancient!
Ken Levine gets in the mix and everybody just has a little power lunch and makes it all happen.
With righteous anger! My light will burn with righteous anger!
That's good. I like the over-the-top one.
Cool.
You want to feel the serpent's tooth really over the top. One.
Okay.
My name is Alex Kay. I'm one of the lead designers on Freedom Force versus the Third Reich.
Oh, for a muse of fire!
I play 2 different characters, the Bard.
Enter the Bard!
Enter the Bard!
And Mr. Mechanical.
Fall before the might of Mr. Mechanical!
These are over-the-top, hammy characters, and it's a great pleasure to indulge.
I ended up doing Mentor just because in designing the characters and then just, of course you sort of get into their head a little bit, and at least for me it was a combination of Ted Knight and Don Pardo, and I just sort of, mixed those together and came up with Mentor.
You are an open book to me.
You are an open book to me.
A lot more banter in this game between the characters. We had to, I had to write, because we have so many characters now, so many heroes, so many villains, one of the great things about the game is we never know what characters people are going to take on what missions. That's one of the strengths of the game. So I had to write variations of dialogue for every character on all these lines. I think the thing I'm most proud of is that people get it. The game has got a unique tone. There's really nothing like it out there. That's right. I think as a medium, we're not just a medium run by 11-year-old, 12-year-old boys. Not that there's anything wrong with gamers who are 11 or 12 years old, but I think gamers have a broader sense of aesthetic and design than marketing people give them credit for sometimes. And again, there's nothing wrong with marketing people, but sometimes I think that they look at a demographic of we got to make it hip, we got to make it cool, we got to make it modern, we got to make it this, we got to make it that, and you generally, the hits and the surprises come from places you don't expect.
Ignore my genius, feel my power!
I think I can safely say there is no other franchise or characters as loved by their creators as Freedom Force. Is Freedom Force going to be back to fight another mission? I think it's a pretty safe bet they will be.
And that is the end. Really. There's no more. Stop watching me and go play Freedom Force. Do you think the world is going to save itself?
Hi, my name is Alex Kay. I'm one of the co-lead designers on Freedom Force vs. the Third Reich. I help design the gameplay. Now I'm going to take you through the process of building a character and also show you some tips on some of my favorite character ideas and how you can use them too. Start going into the character menu, select New. I like, for this character, to use the pinstripe mesh, so I'll select that. First thing is to give him a name. We'll call him Brawler, because that's what he's going to do. He's going to be mostly about punching people. We raised most of his stats up to 4. We will raise them more a little bit later once we know how much room we have. There's a 6,000 point limit. Now, what this guy's going to be all about is bonus melee damage. And there are a number of different attributes that help with that. So we're going to give him Blitzkrieg, which makes his attacks faster and do bonus damage. We're going to make him Charged, which makes his attacks do electrical damage. And we're going to give him Claws, which makes his attacks do piercing damage. Then, over on the info page, we're going to say that he is made of fire. So he's going to do fire damage also. While we're on the info page, we might as well give him his proper pinstripey voice. And now over to powers. We will buy a power. We will buy a melee power. Give it a name, Haymaker, just for kicks. In the animation, we choose a special effect for it. Let's see. Pummel is pretty good. Smack. We'll say okay. So we've gotten him a nice, cheap, but very effective melee power there. So we say okay. We have built the Haymaker power. It doesn't cost very much.
No way! Oh, such pain!
Now, one problem you may have noticed with this character is that he only has the melee power, so he's not going to be able to do anything against flyers. So we're going to get him a backup power to do that. We're going to make it a projectile so it can reach into the air, because when there are flyers, you really do want to bring them down. We don't need to make it fast, because Blitzkrieg makes it fast for us. We want to leave the energy points at none, so that he can do it all the time. But really, this character is not about damaging people with projectiles. He wants to damage them by punching them. So we're going to make this power Density Max. A Density Max power will knock flyers out of the air and keep them on the ground. But this is getting very expensive. Maybe we'll bring the magnitude down to medium. We do want high accuracy though, and at least, can we afford high magnitude? Probably not. Let's leave it at medium. It's all about the trade-offs. Medium range is good. We'll give it a medium radius too, so that if there are multiple flyers, we can hopefully get more of them. Or if we miss by a little bit, it could explode and hit them in the backwash. The animation, just give it a nice straightforward burst animation. Oh, and a name. Let's call this Downer, because that is what it's going to do to people, is bring them down. Okay, so he has 2 powers, and he's still got about 1,000 points left, so we'll go back to the stats tab and buy up some of his statistics. We would like him to be strong, because he hits people, and strength helps with that. We would like him to be fast, but not too fast, because if people are fast, he can always use density maximization to slow them down. We can get both of those up to 6. Can we get any higher? Crowding up against the limit here. Get speed up to 7, strength up to 6, and now he's at 5972, right under the 6,000 point limit. And he's a pretty darn effective character. So we will say, okay. And now we've built the Brawler.
dead man walking, shouts the guard. And although blood still courses through the veins of the man condemned this day to die, although his heart still pumps at a regular rate, Nathan Graves is dead indeed. Dead since the day 1 year ago when Nathan Graves' world came crashing in on him.
Oh, Nathan, I hate it so when you leave in the morning. Patriot City is so big and dangerous. I feel like every time you leave, I may never see you again.
There, Buttercup. Nothing's gonna happen to me.
You promise?
Cross my heart and hope to...
Nathan Graves, don't you dare finish that sentence.
I'll see you tonight, and then...
Hey there, Big N.
There's our new neighbor, Bill.
I don't like the way he looks at me.
With a girl as beautiful as you, who in their right mind wouldn't look?
Later that night...
That's strange. Jenny never leaves the door open. Jenny, are you... Jenny! My God, no! No! Who could have done this? Who could have...
Freeze! It's the police! Nathan Graves says nothing as the police take him away. He says nothing as the gun is found. He says nothing when he is told his fingerprints are on the pistol's hand grip. He says nothing as they come for him on this cold, cold morning. He says nothing as they strap him into the electric chair. And when they ask Nathan Graves if he has any last words, he says nothing.
Excuse me, that's my seat, right up front.
Nathan sees the face of Bill, his neighbor and the man who called the police on that fateful night 1 year ago. And on that face, he sees a bitter smile.
He's always lurking around. I don't like the way he looks at me.
Good God, can it be?
But his words are muffled by the rough fabric of the execution hood.
Wait! Stop the execution! It's him! He killed my darling!
Good grief! Some kind of strange energy is at the circuit breaker. It's surging into the prisoner.
You. The innocent die while the guilty laugh. Who's laughing now? Why? Why did you kill her?
Bullets going right through him as if he wasn't there.
The power of the grave compels you. Why did you kill her?
I didn't. Yes, I killed her. When I tried to catch her, she pushed me away and said she was going to tell you when you got home. Now get your cold hands off me, freak!
Run, fools. Tell the wicked their lies shall be brought into the light. For where Nathan Graves once stood, only tombstone remains.
When the future looks dark, when all hope seems lost, when mankind needs a hero, check your six. Here comes the Sky King!
Rocket pack ready. Let's take to the skies.
The glory of Hollywood, how it takes us away from our day-to-day worries. And never were these worries more real than in the middle of World War II. Yes, we turn to the silver screen for comfort. But to Ace Gunner, things weren't so simple.
Thanks for coming to the screening with me, Charmaine. I always bust out in a nervous sweat before each new episode.
Very well, Ace, but let's not make a regular thing of it. I need my beauty sleep before filming starts tomorrow. My, if it isn't some real flyboys. Don't they look dashing in their uniforms?
Well, shucks, if I were 5 years younger, I'd be flying for real, too.
Hey, gorgeous, why are you wasting time with that civilian?
Oh, we were just saying our goodbyes. Where are you handsome heroes headed to?
Why, Charmaine, I thought you wanted to go home and get some sleep. Charmaine?
But the object of Ace's affections is already gone.
Oh, who am I kidding? Of course Charmaine wants to be with a real hero, not some ninny who just plays one for the moving pictures.
The next day in Tinseltown, Ace prepares for another day of filming as Sky King.
I wonder what the money guys would think if they knew I'd been tinkering with the rocket packs on this costume of mine. I've nearly got 'em working for real. Oh, they'd probably laugh me right off the set.
Speed. And roll film.
And action! Pan up. And there's the Sky King. Okay, Ace, now look down. And there's Charmaine. And she's looking up because she thought she caught a glimpse of her beloved Sky. Hey, who's the Joker in the monocle?
Holy cats! That looks like some kind of a German agent. And those sirens, he must be on the lam from the feds.
Nobody move. This pretty canary is now my hostage.
You'd better not hurt her, Fritzy. She's on contract with the studio.
If you value her life, you will do exactly as I say.
Help! Won't somebody help me?
Quiet, you decadent swine!
Gotta think fast. What would Sky King do? That's it. All those nights tinkering with his jetpack. Well, boy, they're about to pay off.
Get your sauerkraut-smelling mitts off me, you German jerk!
Quiet, fool! Once we are on board the German sub that awaits me, you shall learn to respect the master race.
If this doesn't work, I'm gonna flatten like a tin can. But that crowd's getting away. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Golly gee, what happened?
Wow, Ace saved the day.
He really is the Sky King.
Oh, Ace, you're a hero.
Boffo, Gunner, that was some A1 heroing. And not only that, I got the whole thing on camera.
Maybe we could talk about it over dinner tonight. At my place?
Oh, Sky King is going to be big, but Ace Gunner's going to be bigger.
But now Ace Gunner knows he won't be going to Charmaine's house tonight. In fact, he won't be staying in Hollywood at all. He's going where he knows he's needed most. As the Sky King. Not all battles are won on the battlefield, or so goes the saying at Her Majesty's Institute of Wartime Research. But that wasn't good enough for Jack St. John Spade, working diligently behind his desk at the Institute.
This combination of corrosive acid and deadly venom is exactly what MI6 needs for covert operations against Jerry. Blast, who am I kidding? Here I am, safe as houses, while me mates are right socking it to the Hun on the front lines. If only I could be there with them.
But it was Jack's dear mentor, Professor O'Toole, who personally requested that the Queen keep Jack out of combat.
Remember, Jack, not all battles are won on the battlefield. England can't afford to put you in physical peril. You'll fight, Jerry, but you'll do it from behind your desk.
Blast, where's the time gone? It's time for my weekly card game with Professor O'Toole. Maybe this time I'll be able to convince him to let me leave and join the lads in uniform. Who's the brass with the professor? Looks like they're talking about something right serious. Guess it wouldn't hurt anyone for old Jack to have a bit of a listen.
I hope for your sake that this device will work as advertised, O'Toole. The Hun is at our throat. The RAF can't hold out forever.
If my calculations are correct, my reverse sonar amplification wave will change the course of the war, but I need more time to fully test the final frequency sequence.
You're holding back on me, aren't you, Professor?
Why, of course not. Not I.
Curse the foolish Britisher! My powers of mental persuasion must be losing their hold on him!
Bangers and mash! That sod is no more RAF than Hitler's cousin Fritz. What's his game?
This machine of yours is critical to the Führer's war effort. But don't blame yourself, Professor. How could you have known that the information I have given you pertains to British airplanes and not German? When you tell me the final frequency, I shall activate this device you have created and knock the entire Royal Air Force out of the sky. England shall be Germany's, and blitzkriegs for the taking!
So that's his game. This Teutonic mentalist has tricked the professor into working for the Reichstag.
Now you will tell me the final frequency. Now you shall give me the key to bring your pathetic kingdom to its knees.
Right, you Axis Pratt. Your kind ain't welcome here. Now you can come along quiet like, or you can come along arse over elbow.
Gott den Himmel! When will you allied fools ever learn? Today, Blitzkrieg controls your minds. Tomorrow, he shall rule your pathetic island!
God, blimey. Can't move me own legs. Either I'm off my trolley, or this Pratt is playing cricket with my cerebellum.
That will keep the fool out of the way for now. Now, Professor, you will tell me what I want to know. What is the final frequency?
Gotta think fast. The bleeding war hangs in the balance. Wait a minute. Just because I can't move me legs doesn't leave me out of options, now does it? The professor's starting to talk, but how can I? Me own mentor. But there's no choice. It's him or England.
The final frequency is...
No! You shall pay for this insolence! You have no idea how much of my precious mind went into planning this operation! I shall return to see you and your pathetic kingdom burnt to the ground!
Come back if that's your fancy, Fritz. England will be ready for you. And so shall Blackjack.
The Olympic Games. Is there any spectacle more grand? Is there any contest more demanding? And this Olympics is more demanding than most, because it is hosted in the heart of the Third Reich itself. And with a touch, the match is over. But the citizens of the Reich didn't come to see their own defeated by a French swordstress. Sabrine Tricolette smiles, knowing she has just claimed her third gold medal.
C'est bon, un concours magnifique.
Later, a strange visitor arrives.
Hello? Who is that?
I have come to tell you that you are, how would the French say it? Incroyable.
Pardon, but this room is private.
Private? Why, my dear, from now on, you will keep nothing private from me.
I do not like your tone.
Not to worry, my beautiful flower. I'm here to change your mind.
That is it. What are you doing to my mind?
You're in no position anymore to make demands.
Years pass. A war begins. France falls. And in defeat, the Vichy French collaborate with the German war machine. But a brave few remain true to their country.
Vite! We have to get these supplies to the rest of the French underground. With these munitions, we'll be able to push the Han out of our beloved city forever. P.S. Who is that there?
If it isn't a bunch of pigs lining up at the trial of treachery. Well, we know what happens to traitorous pigs. They fall at the brilliant blade of the Belle Vichy. So, pigs, is there anything you have to say before we finish this?
Allons enfants de la patrie.
Stop that! Stop singing that filthy song at once! Stop it!
The bell grabs the leader of the resistance fighters and shakes him, trying to quiet the notes of her once national anthem. But as she shakes him, his cravat loosens and out comes a symbol that she once held dear. Although she tries to tear away the offending fabric, the stunning swordstress finds herself paralyzed. And from her immobile form, she begins to feel the glowing pride of one's mother country.
The Germans have taken everything from me. My mind, my body, my heart. But they could not take that which I hold most dear. The French flag, la tricolore. Come on, mes amis. It's time to show these fools what it means to be a Frenchman.
Sabrine Tricolette makes a solemn vow.
That German troll has taken my identity and created a new one in its place. So, from this day, I say goodbye to the woman I was and the monster he created, and vow that they shall be avenged by Tricolore!
It has been 5 long months since Johnny al-Hajjani was taken from her home in the heart of Arabia. 5 long months locked in a room in Patriot City, imprisoned by the cruelty of her own father. But Johnny is used to living in such a world, for her father is Sheikh al-Hajjani, a man who believes only in power. power, and gold. And so Johnny awaits her fate, an arranged marriage in a strange land with a man she has never met. But while Johnny can be kept a prisoner, the light of the sun cannot. And as the glowing rays touch her face, Johnny feels compelled to go to the painted-over panels of her only window, to the tiny scratch she has made in the glass, which has become her only portal out of the darkness. And through this portal, Johnny cannot help but gasp as she stares at the stunning colors that swirl around her adopted home.
Oh, no. That's Father. He mustn't see me at the window.
Why have you not prepared yourself for dinner? Tonight is the night you meet your betrothed, and I better not hear any of your jokes or gambles. Binkatami is not interested in your frivolity. Ah, God willing, you'll be his problem soon, and not mine.
Johnny? Are you all right?
Oh, Mustafa, I cannot do this. How can I marry a man I do not love? How can I leave you, my only friend? Is there no escape from this fate?
Oh, my dear sweet child. Perhaps there is.
What do you mean?
Come with Mustafa, quickly.
An hour passes, and when her father returns to claim her, it becomes clear what Mustafa has planned for his despondent charge.
Johnny! Why are you not ready? Binkatami is waiting for you. You best not embarrass me, child. By the beard of the prophet, where is she? I want her found, and found now. And bring that old fool Mustafa to me.
Moments later, at the exit to the compound.
Mustafa was right. This is the way out. At last, my chance to see the stunning sights and fabulous colors of this glorious world.
No, please, do not hurt me. I am an old man.
Talk, you old goat. Where is my daughter? I shall have either her hide tonight or yours.
No! Father seeks to punish Mustafa for my actions. All I need to do is open this door, and I shall be free.
So, you won't talk, eh? All right then, men. Finish him.
Father, stop this at once.
You dare to order me? No, you shall both pay for your insolence.
And as the furious father moves in to strike his defenseless daughter, the sky is filled with a strange light. Johnny gasps as an alien canister filled with a strange substance smashes through the skylight and breaks over her head, washing her with an enigmatic energy. An energy known as X.
What is this? Someone put a stop to this madness.
Your wish is my command.
What? My striking cane? What have you done to it?
I believe I've turned them into begonias. Or are they orchids? Either way, aren't they lovely?
Whoever you are, you'll pay for what you've done to my daughter. Get her!
You shouldn't rely on your goons so much, Daddy. They're such a bunch of asses.
You are not my daughter.
And you're no longer my father. Tell you what, Daddy-O, me and Mustafa are heading off to have some fun.
Get back here. Johnny! Johnny!
Send my regards to that smelly old cheek. Now that he won't be marrying me, maybe you could introduce him to your new little friends.
Johnny, what has happened to you?
I don't know, Mustafa. And I don't care. All I know is that the Green Genie has arrived, and she's going to paint the town fun.
Still music to some gamers' ears. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Actually, it's neither.
Oh no!
It's time to squeeze into a spandex outfit and examine Digital Jester's forthcoming follow-up to PC superhero-themed tactical role-playing jaunt, Freedom Force.
Saddle up, Freedom Force! We're heading to Cuba!
Developers Irrational Games, Defenders of Liberty, are coming back to save us from evildoers in Freedom Force versus the Third Reich. This time you'll be up against Blitzkrieg and his homicidal henchmen in a time-travelling race to stop him changing the course of World War II in the Nazis' favour. If anyone's up to the job, it's the League of Heroes.
You are an open book.
The world that they must defend will look substantially improved with the new Gamebryo engine adding realistic lighting effects and extra layers of detail.
By the goddess!
Your superheroes here will be inspired by the golden age of comic books before they became more serious and demanded to be called graphic novels.
My mind shields my body. I am ready to serve.
Many old favourites will return, so rest assured that Manbot will be back to swat enemies with whatever comes to hand. And El Diablo will toast evildoers with his flaming powers. New heroes will also be signing up for the Force. Look out for Sky King, an ex-B-movie actor who's modified an old costume to become a fully functional suit of powered armour. You'll even be treated to their insightful background stories presented in classic comic book fashion.
Speeds away from the home planet, through the dimensional gate. Hot on its heels is a fleet of the Domain starships, firing all the while.
We'll be scanning Freedom Force versus the Third Reich with our X-ray review vision in April. Holy end of show! That's enough superheroics for now. We'll see you next time on Gamer TV.
What is this? Summoned from my slumber in the time stream by you?
Oh my God! In a time of terror, when freedom itself hangs in the balance, only one force can stand up against the original axis of evil. For freedom! What in the name of the Founding Fathers is going on here?
A little splash of color.
Don't mess with Scott!
Put you on ice.
You will not survive. Did somebody say my name?
The streets are jam-packed with innocents.
Feel the serpent's tooth.
Where shall I focus my power?
Your death comes swiftly.